It's time to wake up, the show's about to start, with lots of stories about pulling a bit of heart. When it comes to Joanne, no, you won't find no faults. But if you mess with the bull, you might get the shows. It's time for Morning. It's Morning with Bill and Joe. It's time for Morning. It's gonna be a heck of a show. It's Bill and Joe.
Hello and welcome to Morning with Bill and Joe. I'm Joe.
And I'm Bill, and you could say Joe's back. See what I did there?
I am.
I'm having fun with your pain.
Thank you. I'm back and worse than ever. Yeah, ow. Even just sitting here, I have little spasms. I tweaked
You
my
might have
back.
to go to a doctor.
Well, I might not have health insurance this month. It's fine. Also, what is a doctor going to do? I'm going to go to an urgent care.
If
and
you
they're going to
slipped
be
a
like,
disc.
ice it, rest it, then heat it. Like all the stuff I'm doing.
Yeah. What if you slipped a disc?
I don't think so. That's not what happens with me. I think because of my scoliosis, my muscles, the muscles around the spine, have gotten very used to tightening up to protect the spine. And that's what happened. I was at the gym. I was doing some deadlifts, which, who do I think I am? I should really just be on the treadmill and stretching. And I felt a little, And I finished out the rest of my workout. I was fine. And as soon as I got home, I was like, nope, this isn't good. So I'm now on day 3 of recovery. It's way better.
Okay.
But man, I mean, the older you get, the longer it takes.
Yeah, you're telling me. Boy, knock on wood, I have certainly got a lot of problems, but I know back pain is a bad thing, and I rarely ever have that in my own life.
And it really made me, oh God, what's the word? Empathy? I don't know that I've ever felt that
I don't know
before.
if that means you haven't, if you really have to search for the term.
But people who deal with chronic pain.
Oh, yeah.
I now get it. I now get why they maybe rely on medication or are depressed, because it just consumes your thoughts like the entire day. You are just reminded of how much it sucks.
That whole "at least you have your health" thing is not just a phrase; it's a reality. Nice Wilbur's t-shirt, by the way.
Yes, thank you. This is my Wilbur's mustard t-shirt. Every time I wear one of the 3 that I have, I always get compliments / questions like, what is that? And I go, just the best mustard around.
See, that alone will hopefully get us some more product.
Yeah, this is not currently sponsored, you guys.
Yeah. That's as close to sponsors as we're going to get. Well, how are you aside from crippling pain?
Great. I have a house, Bill, I have a home. I mean, God, these California wildfires.
There you go. See, you are Professor Perspective today.
Really,
empathizing with people in pain, happy you have a home. This is a bold new Joe.
Yeah. It's absolutely devastating what's happening in LA. I have some friends there. I know you do too. All of my friends are good. A lot of them live like more LA proper than like the outskirts. So
as do mine.
Some of them have had to evacuate just for like precautionary reasons, but all of their places are fine. How is Lauren? How are people you know?
Well, I mean, you don't tell Lauren what to do. But she got all these care packages for people for friends of hers who've already fled their homes. I don't know where they're even at right now. And was just adamant that she was going to drive to LA. Luckily, she brought gigantic dog Sonny for some protection, because also just like security wise, forget about the gridlock, the air, and the lack of homes, but there's a lot of bad people going out there and looting and stuff like that. And I told her she should wait. This doesn't need to be done right now, but if it's just contributing to the gridlock, but she did it and got back to her place in Palm Springs and is safe, I guess. It's got a couple friends I haven't heard from, which not for lack of trying, but other than I'm living.
I'm sure it's hard too. Like, you don't want to overwhelm these people. I'm sure they're getting texts from so many people, and like they don't know how to respond. It's like, how are you? And they're like, I'm terrified. I have no fucking idea. Like,
I just do not get California, man. I mean, hey, it's an industry town, but maybe you move the industry someplace else. It's just like they're at the foot of this mountain that's got all these mudslides, and they're on the San Andreas Fault, and you got the fires and the lack of rain and the lack of. It's all the signs of the apocalypse all the time.
Well, and it makes you wonder, right? Like for the neighborhoods where everything was completely destroyed, do people want to rebuild there knowing it's so dangerous?
What insurance company is going to look to that area and think, that's a good investment? I'm going to stick with them.
Apparently, a lot of people, unfortunately, did not have insurance. I want to say it was State Farm, but forgive me if it's not. But one of them had recently canceled a bunch of plans before this happened because they could foresee something like this happening. Isn't that awful?
Jesus. Yeah, the LA mayor's not having a good time of it. Nor is Gavin Newsom. I don't know if you saw that footage of him being attacked by she was a little bit of a Karen, but he was also pretending like he was calling Biden to get out of conversation with her. So yeah, the politicians are getting it up the wazoo.
Yeah, at that, I've never wanted to be a politician, but moments like these really reinforce that idea that I would never not only want to, but like I would fucking suck at it. I would be so bad.
I would want so many days off. Usually when they would really need me, any national disaster, I'm going to go like, what's her name? The LA mayor's name escapes me, but she was in London like half the time or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'd be horrible. Wouldn't want to do it. Maybe we're not as much of a narcissist as we thought we were. Takes a special brand.
If you do want to see, if all of this footage is depressing you, really great footage is on TikTok, which may soon be banned, who knows, but Spencer Pratt of Heidi and Spencer. They were two people on the reality show The Hills several years ago. My millennial listeners and watchers will know who this is. But they're like B-list, D-list type celebs. Their home was completely burned to the ground. And he has been creating TikToks non-stop. But they are completely transparent. He's like, all right, I got to make this video 1 minute and 3 seconds so I can monetize it. He's like, if you want to see us rebuild, tweet at Hulu. Make sure you mention them. They're the only ones who haven't passed on a reality show with us. Trying to rebuild my home. So, having a show and a paycheck would be good. Like, he's just completely transparent and kind of funny and honest. It's great. His wife is trying to be like pop star. She has a new album out. And he's like, please, everyone, download my wife's album. Let's try to get to number 1. You could listen to it on silent, but please just download her music so we can afford to have a home. It's just, I don't know why it makes me giggle.
You are nothing if not blunt. Well, it kind of reminds me of that always wanting to be a pop star waitress on Vanderpump Rules, which I think we've talked about. Maybe not. All new cast. I think that's a very bad move.
Yes.
I have vested interest in the oldies.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't even call it the same show.
Right.
Similarly, the Real Housewives of New York has an all-new young cast. And I've been watching it, but it's just not the same show.
Well, Lisa Vanderpump seems to think that this magic is all because of her. Couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
If anything, she's barely the minister of ceremonies. But I'm sure she'll be in it. Doling advice that no one listens to a bunch of much younger, unbelievable-looking staff. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it just reminds us of our own aging.
Yeah, seriously.
Speaking of looking good and
Thank you.
The LA wildfires, this is a Joanne's fashion masks. If you purchased a fashion mask during COVID, I highly recommend you wear it. If you are in LA, that air quality is not good.
If you purchased if you purchased one of Joanne's fashion masks during COVID, I think you owe them an apology.
Why?
Because there weren't any fashion masks, and you participated in wide-scale fraud.
No. It's just you had to pre-order, and then it was back-ordered. And if you still haven't received it from your order 4 years ago, it is on the way.
What a monster! Well, you do be thinking about how you can capitalize on the tragedy that is the California fires for your next project. that you
But
won't do.
that's what capitalism is, Bill. If you read my book, Capitalism, with a
No
money
one
sign
did.
for the S.
No one did.
You didn't read?
Well, you didn't write
That's a
it.
shame.
Gotta write it. Got it. I'd hate to see your to-do list. Looks like a phone book. Oh, you can
Honestly,
sell phone books.
it's really just like shower, take out the trash, like little things so I can cross them off and feel good about myself.
Little things you haven't done in a week. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ABC insiders are embarrassed and horrified over, I'm going to mispronounce it. Do you know David Muir?
Oh, Muir. I think it's Muir. That was to cheer
Muir?
Lauren up during her ride. I sent her that one.
Well,
That
it's
story.
everywhere now.
Oh,
They're
good.
embarrassed over David Muir's alleged narcissistic fashion move while covering the LA wildfires.
I was hoping
His
you'd like this one.
vanity was seemingly, unfortunately, full display while covering the deadly Los Angeles wildfires Wednesday. So that was almost a week ago. The World News Tonight anchor had a tone-deaf on-air fashion faux pas when he accidentally revealed to the camera that he had clothespins cinching the back of his official-looking flame-retardant jacket for a better fit while broadcasting live during the catastrophe. So I'm going to put up an image of it here, but he is essentially turning around to show the devastation behind him. And you see clothespins that have cinched the waist of his jacket. A source told Page 6 of the anchor, his narcissism is quite large in the sense of this kind of thing. I like David except for this part of him. Anderson Cooper, Chris Cuomo, they all wear the muscle shirts, but they would never wear this during a wildfire. He typically wears a uniform of like a black t-shirt. If you've seen other news coverage with him, it's like kind of his thing. Even on Instagram, he's showing off his figure. He's proud of it. Good for him.
He does a lot of this on his Instagram.
Yeah, a little smoldering eye, smoldering. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have used that word.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Now, there have been people who have been defending him, others who are saying it's outrageous. I have yet to see someone with my take. Are you ready for it?
No.
Get ready. He is wearing a flame retardant jacket and affixing it with something highly flammable.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of the obvious, of course.
A wooden clothespin. Now, what's crazy too is I've worked on television sets, news too. Never have I been affixed with a clothespin. They have, like other types of things, but like a wooden clothespin, maybe that was all they had on hand. They're getting resourceful. That's fine. But that is so dangerous to me.
One little spark.
And,
we're one less anchor down.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if Gavin Newsom does that. He strikes me as
I'm sure.
They're of the same ilk.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of people do it. Like, that's not the issue. I guess the vanity, it is a little tone deaf. Also, it's an ABC jacket, okay? So this is something they have had in wardrobe for a while for instances like this. Just get it tailored to you, honey. I don't know why you didn't do that ahead of time. This was in the closet. So I don't know.
He is a big fan of him. I just like, he's good friends with Kelly Ripa, and I'll watch him on Kelly and what's her husband? Mark. Sorry, Mark. You're not second banana to
How
me.
dare you?
And he's just very pleased with himself. Oh, he just thinks he's got it going on. Yeah, and he must hang out with Anderson Cooper a lot too, because he's good pals with Kelly. But yeah, they all, there's that. I never really thought about the super tight T-shirt until they mentioned it, but all those anchors do that. I wasn't aware of the clothespins. I'm reminded of the great movie, still holds up, Broadcast News, and William Hurt was telling him to sit on his coat to help with his shoulders when Albert Brooks is trying to be an anchor, and then he used to sweat a lot. But there's all these sort of tricks in the trade. I wasn't aware of that one, but I'm going to start doing it. I've got clothespins on now.
Yeah, I'm not wildly upset about it. There was a moment, though, where I was watching coverage, and you see, I think it might have been Anderson Cooper, walking by like a small little fire and just showing it. And I'm like, we can't get a huge tarp and like smother that out. We're just walking by and showing it. Like there is something kind of strange about the whole thing,
Maybe
right?
anchors treat disasters like campsites, like, leave everything the way it was. Don't interfere. Don't make yourself part of the story. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. Someone who is doing great coverage though is Courtney Friel, a Red Eye alum. Somewhat, she's been on Mornin years
Yeah.
ago promoting her book. She works for KTLA, and she is really doing the Lord's work. She is doing overnights. She's creating these packages where she's going to different neighborhoods, talking to the people there, the homeowners who've lost everything. So yeah, I appreciate a little more of what like Courtney is doing.
I got to start looking at some of these things. Good for
Well,
Courtney.
she posts it all on Instagram, and you don't look at Instagram.
Yeah.
Speaking of death,
Yes.
not a great segue.
No.
You went to a funeral recently, correct?
Yeah, I was in the Bronx yesterday. Last stop, boy, it was out there. Big Italian. I'm very sad. Holly's aunt died. I mean, I can't claim that I knew her all that well, but she seemed very nice. There in solidarity. But very Italian wedding, and then a squares wedding. Well, I'm hoping for one soon, to offset the pain. But yeah, and I was very overdressed, I think. It was more of a comfortable, casual wedding, and I wore a tie and all that.
You keep saying wedding. What is going on? Why do you have wedding on the brain?
I'm trying to be positive.
Okay.
Funeral.
Well, I mean, better to be overdressed for a funeral than underdressed.
Mm-hmm. It was the Schultz contingent. All the squares were wearing ties, and everyone else had tasteful tracksuits.
Now, was there a really good spread afterwards? I know Italians are typically known for eating their feelings.
Yes, but I took the long commute home. I had to actually meet up with my old buddy Clint, who I believe you've met. I've always wanted to do this. I was like, well, I'm wearing a tie. Before I go see him, maybe I'll get a quick Bloody Mary at Carlisle, because I've never had a drink there. And it's a really fancy. Guess how much it costs?
$24.
Yes.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not including tip, though.
Okay. Yeah. Well, did it have, I mean, the whole point of the Bloody Mary is the snacks you get with it. Did it have olives and celery?
The best I've ever seen.
Wow.
One giant thing of potato chips, another thing of some sort of weird cheesy type bread. So you really get a full meal. And nuts.
Then honestly, worth the 24.
I think so. Lovely mural. The artist's name escapes me, but it's a famous article that did the Madeline books. This little French girl. I don't know if you ever read them as a kid. That is in there, and it's really. Bill Murray goes there all the time. He did his stupid Christmas special, really overrated for Netflix at Carlisle. But yeah, it's a cool looking place, and I really felt. But that was also another situation where I'm like, they must have this incredible dress code. I was like, I'm sitting next to other people that were very rich and in sweatsuits, basically. A table full of what appeared to be influencers, just these hot women, but they were all wearing gym wear and stuff like that. I was definitely overdressed.
That reminds me, I want to restart up my business idea of being a food blogger.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
I blog about food bloggers.
Yes.
I take photos of the people taking photos of food and drink, and critiquing them. So.
Oh, speaking of critiquing.
Okay.
Robbie Williams, a pop star a lot of people may not be aware of, but he's huge everywhere else. He's sort of the male version of Kylie Minogue people. Okay. Huge in England, never really. He's had a couple minor hits in the States, but never really reached the Olympian heights he has in England and elsewhere. Robbie Williams calls himself a professional attention seeker. First as a member of a stadium-packing boy band called Take That. It's almost like they have a bowl with a bunch of just boy band names, and that would just be absolutely one of those in that bowl. Take That. Since the 1997 debut solo album as a superstar with dozens of top 10 hits in the UK, for decades, his persona as the bad boy of pop was intertwined with the serious real-life issues, including drug and alcohol abuse, coupled with extreme depression. Sounds familiar. His complicated, colorful life has been cast in a more fantastical way in Better Man, the new film directed by Michael Gracie, quote, The Greatest Showman, that opens in theaters on Friday. Audiences will hear Robbie Williams' voice, but that is actor Jono Davis portraying him as a chimpanzee in the January 10th biopic Better Man, name of one of his songs, don't you know? The movie contains plenty of music biopic tropes, but the variation that immediately spotlights its unconventionality is, again, Williams is a chimpanzee. Robbie Williams always said that he was completely and utterly obsessed with Gracie's idea, and his musical biography depicts him as a monkey. I'm just a performing monkey, Williams would often tell Gracie, which I guess inspired this unique take on a pop star. It was augmented by some computer-generated images with a high-resolution digital scan of Williams' actual eyes. Boy, there's a lot of bells and whistles going into making one chimpanzee. Williams, always a blunt fella, very funny guy. I'd love to show off for everybody in the U.S. to a greater extent than I've been able to. But if my movie is yet again met with indifference, then I will find it very difficult to have enthusiasm to do anything in the United States again. I interviewed him a long time ago for Stuff Magazine, and he is just every interviewer's dream because he is a quote machine. He's hilarious. He's very self-deprecating, and just got a million stories. One of the ones that went international. He was telling me he was at the height of his drug phase. He was at a party, perhaps maybe at Elton John's place, and he's like, I was just transfixed by this landscape painting. And I'm sitting next to Bono. He's a very good name dropper. He's like, Bono, can you believe this painting? Is he so real? And Bono looks at him and goes, Robbie, that's a window.
He was looking out a window and thought it was a painting. Was he high?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Extremely. But he's got a bunch like that. Yeah. So what do we think? Is it a gimmick, or are you going to wait in line to see it?
So here's what's interesting. Whether or not it's a good film, you have to give props to their promotional team, because I heard about this film through Douglas, because for whatever reason on his social media algorithm on TikTok, he is seeing tons of movie reviews of this film. So it was influencers reviewing this film and having incredible things to say about it. However, when it's a paid promotion, you have to put in your caption that it's a paid promotion. And all of these reviews were paid. So
that's hilarious. So that could backfire. Yeah.
So everyone's like, this is an incredible idea, the storytelling, the blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, apparently, though, it does have really good right now. I think it's like 96 or in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. So audiences are liking it. But I don't know. Typically, when something has so much press, I tend to think it's not going to be great. However, I don't know. That wasn't the case with me and Wicked. I loved that film. So
I have an issue like the BoJack Horseman type stuff of the world, watching not animals doing human things, because obviously that's good fun for everyone. But I don't like them watching them do very adult things. And at some point, there's going to be shades of bestiality, because he's had sex with many a starlet. But in this case, it's going to be a monkey having sex with a human. Stuff like that. Monkeys doing cocaine. That's going to be difficult for me to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't even like monkeys. They're very dangerous.
It's funny you mentioned BoJack Horseman, because I just started watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen it before. And as I was watching it with Douglas, I'm like, wait, this is kind of like that film that you say you keep seeing reviews of. It's like just turning the main person into an animal, but nothing else is really different.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't much of an original thought from my end, but yeah, it just, when they're doing very adult things, it's just for some reason weirds me out. So I don't know if I'm going to see it, but I like watching Robbie do interviews.
You know, it's an interesting gimmick, but it's like, can a gimmick last? How long is the film? 2 hours? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. There's I mean, after a while, it's like, yeah, we get it, but good on them. We're talking about it. Although apparently, and this isn't a paid promotion, trust me.
No, hey, y'all want to pay us? We'll say great things about the movie.
Start with Wilbur's mustard. There we go.
It's hard for me to show. My back hurts. It's hard for me to. Hello?
Nice. Well, for that reason, I guess we'll wrap it up early so you could get some pain meds in you. I'm really sorry, Joe. But the great thing about football is sometimes it actually inspires me to watch while using weights and stuff like this. In your case, you can turn on the playoffs and stand. Maybe you'll watch so much action that you won't feel the need to sit and hurt yourself.
But that's the thing. You're going to think I'm like an avid football fan. Me standing and like, oh, I'm swaying from foot to foot. You think I'm really into the game. No, it's just I can't sit for too long and movement is better for me.
Picturing you watching football is like picturing Robbie Williams as a chimp to me. Very unnatural. But
well, the fact that you were like, "Oh, are you going to watch football today?" I forgot football is a thing.
Yeah, playoffs.
Wait, who's in it? Who's playing?
Today the big game will be the Packers-Eagles. Packers could be for the second year in a row, be a 7th seed or whatever they are, and win, which they did last year. But the Eagles are heavily favored.
We might be recording this early. Well, it's Sunday, clearly, but you're watching it now on Tuesday. So let's make our predictions.
I'm going to say, I think the money bet would be on the Packers too, but I would say Eagles. I don't know what the spread is, but I'm going Eagles to win.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Eagles. I know more Eagles fans, so I'd rather they be happy.
Yeah, screw the Packers. Are you in so much pain that you can't do this as the graphics go?
No, I can.
Okay, good.
Here's a more you, Joe. Ah. Okay, if you want another good film to watch, this has been out for a while. Have you ever seen Hamlet 2?
Oh, I have seen. I don't know if I've seen the whole thing, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, the one with what's his name, the British actor.
It is very funny.
Yeah,
and really creative. And, anyways, just it's on a streamer, so you can watch it for free. So if you're looking for something lighthearted during these otherwise difficult times, highly recommend.
He plays a very earnest performing arts theater teacher, and wants to make the sequel to Hamlet.
Yeah. I mean, it combines, stuff I love, like theater and performance.
And delusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, anything else going on? Promote your walking tour again.
January 24th, people. Weather looks like it's going to be amazing. Come join us. So I could get paid like Spencer Pratt.
Nice. Exactly. All right. Thank you all. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
I'm sure glad that's over.
That's all for this episode of Mornin with Bill and Joanne.
I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts.
Shut up, Bill.
Subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah, I wasn't listening either.
Very nice, Joanne. Touché.
For videos of this and other episodes, go to @MorninBillAndJoe on YouTube.
Bill, put the sword down.
Run, Joanne, run!
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We would do it for you. Okay, that's a lie.
I never liked your show. Sorry, wasn't listening. See ya.